Yes lads, how you all doing? Welcome back to a brand new video on the channel, and today I'm going to bring you guys the Leicester versus Manchester City match preview. So today guys, I'm going to bring you the match preview for the game on Saturday where Manchester City travel down to the King Power Stadium to take on Leicester in the Premier League. Before getting into it, make sure you put a thumbs up down below on today's video if you want to join this Leicester versus Manchester City match preview. Make sure you subscribe, come see my face on your screen before. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. If you guys could go down below, hit the subscribe button, it will be massively appreciated. And while you're down there, make sure to turn my channel notifications so you never miss any future videos on the channel just like this one. Make sure to follow my social medias, they'll be down there. Links, all of them will be in the description down below. And let me know your score predictions for this huge Premier League clash in the comment section down below. So getting straight into today's match preview, as always, we're going to start off by talking about our opposition, which is obviously Manchester City for this huge Premier League clash down at the King Power Stadium on Saturday. This week I got Ray from City Fan TV to come on the channel to give you guys the Manchester City side of things in today's preview. So big thanks to him for coming on the channel today. There'll be a link to his channel, City Fan TV, in the description down below. So make sure you do go and subscribe. Like I said, big thanks to him for coming on the channel today. I'm going to hand over to him and he's going to bring you guys the Manchester City side of the match preview.
Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, a dedicated Manchester City YouTube channel. Now you might be wondering why I'm wearing an all Leicester City top when I'm a Man City fan, and that's because I'm here to preview the Premier League game between Leicester City and Manchester City, third versus second. And I'm doing this on behalf of Josh from SPORTSA. Guys, go out and check out his channel, give him a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Just hit that red button and you'll be subscribed. So, big game, absolutely massive game for both clubs. I think this is possibly going to decide which team finishes second in the league. I think if City win, quite probably Leicester won't make up the 7-point difference. If it's a draw, obviously it's still in the balance, and if Leicester win, game on for that second spot. I think both teams want it. It's a little extra kudos, and there's a bit of money involved as well, both in the Premier League prize money and up into next year's Champions League. And that's if UEFA let us play in next year's Champions League. I'm not going to talk about that. Enough about that this week already. So, thoughts about City's season so far? That's Josh's first question. It's been up and down. It's been up and down. We've had some pretty good moments and we've had some pretty lame moments too. We've lost plenty of games. I can't even count that. It's that many now. Was it 5, 6? It's been tons, and we've been weak at the back. That's what most people have said, and I'm going to throw out an alternative opinion here. It's not just that we've been weak at the back. We've been not as good, not as clinical up front, and not as defensively stable leading from the front. And basically what's happened in the last couple of seasons, teams are having more of the ball, they're having more quality ball against City, and our defenders, who in the last couple of seasons haven't been asked too much to defend, have been asked more and more often to defend tricky moments, and they're not infallible, they will make mistakes, and that's what's happened. So it's been, as I said, an up and down season. It's been very disappointing as a City fan to find us so far behind Liverpool. We've not mounted a title challenge, and that's been extremely disappointing. And I've pointed to 5 games in the season where we've scored 2 goals and failed to win. And that's shocking for City. You know, if you want to win the title, you can't be doing that. And there's 3 games. I mean, there's the Newcastle game, we drew 2-2, we're winning 2-1. Plenty of chances to win that. The Spurs game at home, we drew 2-2 again. We were winning 2-1. Tons of chances to win that game. We had, I think, 29 or 30 shots that day. The game against Crystal Palace, once again, we were winning 2-1. Plenty of chances to win that. We drew each of those games. We lost away at Wolves when we were winning 2-0, even though we were down to 10 men in the second half. And we put a bizarre defensive display where we just focused on defending. And we had no outlets, and Wolves scored 3 goals in whatever 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes to beat us. And we lost away at Norwich after scoring 2 goals. And I just say, if we twisted those around, which we shouldn't be losing games where we're scoring 2 goals, you know, that's 12 points. Sounds ridiculous. It's all ifs, buts and maybes. But for me, it shows that we are not far off being very, very good again. But when you drop a few percent, which I think we have, it doesn't take much to basically to turn your season topsy-turvy. You know, we should be really looking at least 90 points this season. And to be honest, we'll be getting 80 if we're lucky, 82, something like that. It's going to be a low points total for the team that finishes second. So it's been up and down, but we've still got time, you know, to win stuff this season. Carabao Cup final next weekend, FA Cup, we're through to the fifth round against Sheffield Wednesday away, and we're still in the Champions League. Even though UEFA might not let us play in it next season. So we've still got a lot to play for, so I'm not going to look at this season as a poor season, as a bad season. A bit disappointing the way our league form has let Liverpool romp away with it. But to be honest, we'd have had to be right at the top of our game to have a chance of challenging Liverpool for the title. And even then, the way they're a machine, an absolute machine. The way they've churned out results, I'm not sure we could have lived with their pace this season, but I would have liked to have put them under a little bit of pressure. Next question, which City players to watch out for? Well, I mean, guys, I'm sure you've seen a lot more of Man City than I've seen of Leicester City this season. And I'm sure most of you know, the danger man is going to be KDB, Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin De Bruyne, I think as you're supposed to say. I don't think he's been fantastic. I think he's got a lot more to give. But he's had moments of magic, especially in the season where he was getting 1 or 2 assists a game, scoring the odd goal. And I thought he was coursing through games. He'd been injured last season, he'd come back and he was getting back into it slowly. But he still had that quality, those moments of magic. He wasn't doing it throughout games, but he was putting on a fantastic enough display, but just knowing he had an extra 1 or 2 gears to call upon. So he's already got 24 goals and assists this league season, which is equaling his best, which he's done 3 times actually. So he's going to probably smash through the 30 barrier, 35 barrier even, and get the most goals and assists he's ever done in a season. And in fact, I think he's got 16 assists already. I think the record is 20 assists in a season, so he's very, very close to beating that. He should beat that. We've got 12 games to go, so I'm confident he'll do that. Another player to watch out for is one of your old boys, Riyad Mahrez. I think he's had generally pretty good form when he's played this season. He's got a decent number of goals, a few assists. He's looked dangerous at times. I still think there's more to give. I think there's more to come from Riyad. I think last season, I think he struggled. I think he was, he's a big fish at Leicester, with all due respect to him, as a smaller pond. Whereas now, he's actually a very small fish. If Leroy Sané and Sterling were on top form, I'm not sure he'd even get into the side. He's a bench player. But this season, I think his work rate's improved. I think his confidence generally has improved. Probably his attitude has improved as well, because you need that at City. A poor attitude, you get left on the bench more often than not. So probably those 2 players stick in my mind. I can't see us playing any of the kids like Foden or Garcia. Certainly not starting the game. It's a massive game for us. As I said at the top of the show, if we win, we go, I think, 7 points clear of Leicester, and I can't see in 11 games you making up that 7-point difference, as long as we keep stumbling on and winning a few games throughout the rest of the season. So it's a massive game, and I think it's a massive game for our confidence as well. We've had that 3-week, basically a 3-week break after the West Ham game was postponed. We had that game just earlier this week, a couple of days ago, and that's warming us up for this game against Leicester and then the game against Madrid. Now, we've got a lot of games in a short space of time. Obviously, as I said, Leicester on Saturday, Real Madrid on Wednesday, Carabao Cup on Sunday, Sheffield Wednesday in the FA Cup on Wednesday. It's just game after game after game, churning them out. We've got the Manchester Derby coming up as well in a few weeks. So we've got an absolute shed load of games. So I don't think Pep's going to look towards the Real Madrid game, but he might do. I mean, is that going to define our season? Probably will. The European campaign is going to define our season. Winning the FA Cup is great. It's joyous as a City fan to win cups and trophies and stuff. But I think a lot of focus is going to be on that Champions League game against Real Madrid, which we really have to win if we want to progress as a club and to get to the latter stages of Champions League with a chance to win it. We're good enough to win, but on the pitch. But I think mentally, we just not got it right. We know losing a 5-3 lead against Monaco, losing to Liverpool quite poorly, and losing to Spurs last season. It was all in our heads. We are miles better than at least 2 of those sides. but we ended up getting knocked out. So I think Pep might have an eye on the Madrid game, but I really hope we put our strongest team against Leicester, because we're going to need to. I mean, Leicester, you're not where you are in the league by accident, yeah? And I'm obviously going to be worried about people like Vardy. I think he's been off the boil recently, but he was on fire the first half of the season. Very dangerous customer, still got that pace, still got that trickery, and still got an eye for goal. So I'm going to be really concerned about him. I want to see once again some of your defenders like Soyuncu, Chilwell, if they play. We were disappointed when you guys came up to Manchester in December, because we were expecting more from Chilwell. You know, obviously there's talk about City. We need a new left back, I think, with Mendy's situation. And there was talk last season, especially towards the end of the season, about Chilwell coming to City. So I want to see how your guys do, how they play. But look, guys, as I said, you've done really well this season, and I hope you can just hang in there. I think you're well clear of fifth spot, and it might be sixth spot that gets the Champions League next season. Sorry, fifth spot, but sixth place team. You know what I mean. But I think you're well enough clear to stumble over the line and maintain that top four spot. I just can't see you falling back enough. I think you've got too much quality in your side. Rodgers has got you playing a decent game of football. But as for the game against City, I think it's going to be similar to the game in Manchester. I think you're going to be on the defensive. I don't think you have much choice. I think that's the way you're going to have to play, using Barnes and Vardy's pace, especially on the break. Maybe using the height from your defenders at set pieces, corners and throw-ins and free kicks and stuff. But I think it's going to be another display where Man City will have probably 65-70% of possession. I think you're going to be happy enough for us to have that, and you're going to defend deep. Most teams are doing that against us and hitting us on the break, and that's happened time and time again this season. So I can't see you doing it any other way. It's good that we've got Aymeric Laporte back. I think that's going to make a huge difference in terms of confidence and ability at the back. I think he's. I think I saw a stat. He's played 50 Premier League games for City. He's featured in 50 games, and we've won 43 of them. So, he's whether he's just a good luck charm or whether his brilliance is key to making the difference for City. Score prediction finally. I've had a shocking season this season in score predictions for Man City. I've got a league with some friends where we predict all the scores, and I have not, in 26 league games, predicted the Man City score correctly this season. Not once. So I'm going to chicken out here. I'm going to give you the prediction, actually, of a friend of mine, and she has predicted 20% of the Man City scores, and she's got them right. So basically 5 out of 26 she's got them bang on, and she's well clear, about 30 points clear in our league, and to get 10 points in a week is really good. She's strolling that league in our score prediction league, in our Premier League score prediction league. So I'm going to tip my hat off to her, and I'm going to go 2-1 to City, because that's what she's predicted. Partly because I think, obviously, you're good enough to score goals. We've conceded far too many, so I think you will score. But I think, we've got hopefully determination to put in a good performance and keep us warmed up for Madrid, and to beat you with all that's happened in the last week, and to hopefully start to cement that second spot for City. I think that's really important, and for us to have the confidence for the rest of the season and for the rest of our cup campaigns, and then obviously that Champions League campaign. There you go, guys. That's my preview. Hope you've enjoyed it. And as I said, check out Josh's channel, SPORTSA, and give him a subscribe. Give me a subscribe on my channel, City Fan TV. We'll see you around, Blues.
So that's it for the Manchester City side of the match preview. Like I said earlier on, a big thanks to Rafe from City Fan TV for coming on the channel today. There'll be a link to his channel in the description down below. But let's get into the Leicester side of the match preview. So, Last time out in the Premier League for Leicester, we travelled down to the West Midlands to take on Wolves at Molineux, and the Foxes managed to come away with the game with a draw, a 0-0 draw at Molineux. In fairness, a pretty good result away from home. Molineux is always a very difficult place to go, and to come away with a point and a clean sheet, it's a very good result from Brendan Rodgers, man. Now, hopefully we can take some of that good performance into today's game against Manchester City. But to be perfectly honest, it wasn't the best of performances away from home against Wolves at Molineux, and we probably were a bit lucky to come away with a point in the game. Obviously, quite a bit of VAR drama, and Leicester were hanging on to the game for long periods of the game, especially in the second half after Hamza Chowdhury's red card. But to be perfectly honest, to come away with a point after that with the red card with 15 minutes left is a pretty good performance away from him to get the point at Molineux. But like I just briefly mentioned, Hamza Chowdhury got a red card in the Wolves game at Molineux. That is the first time a Leicester player has picked up a red card so far this Premier League season, so a pretty good stat to be perfectly honest. But obviously Hamza Chowdhury got his second yellow, which sent him off at Molineux for a pretty stupid tackle, to be perfectly honest. But this can cause Leicester a few problems for the game against Manchester City, as Wilfred Ndidi is injured, and obviously Hamza Chowdhury can't play, and the Pardis Mendy is also out injured as well. So Leicester literally have no defensive midfielders, which is not going to be the best coming up against Kevin De Bruyne. But we'll get into that later on with my team selection. That is a big factor heading into this game. It's going to be interesting to see what formation Brendan Rodgers will go with, but I'll give you my thoughts on that later on in this preview. But getting on to the game itself, it's a huge game down at the King Power Stadium on Saturday, second versus third. The two sides separated by 4 points, so it is really a 6-pointer. If Leicester can get the 3 points, the race to second is really on for the Foxes. But if Manchester City obviously win, the gap is going to go to 7 points, and it may be out of Leicester's reach as the season comes to a close. So it's a huge game, and hopefully Leicester could possibly come away with a point, or maybe even 3 points on Saturday at the King Power Stadium. So Leicester have already took on Manchester City so far this Premier League season. That came just before Christmas at the Etihad, where the Foxes got heavily beaten 3-1 away from home in a pretty poor performance against Manchester City at the Etihad. Hopefully it's not a repeat of that on Saturday at the King Power Stadium, but that was a pretty poor performance away from home. So hopefully Leicester can turn it around, get a bit more confidence, and hopefully we can try and get at Manchester City and try and score some goals. So like I said, in the reverse fixture which took place at the Etihad earlier on this season, the performance from a Leicester point of view was very poor. Obviously we got demolished 3-1, we really got battered in the game, to be perfectly honest, and it probably should have been more. Obviously it was a game where Ben Chilwell got absolutely terrorised by Riyad Mahrez on that flank. Hopefully that does not happen again on Saturday. Maybe a formation change is needed to try and stop Man City coming forward in that attacking third where they really are most dangerous, with lots of Kevin De Bruyne and Riyad Mahrez, like I said, Sergio Aguero, etc. In that game we tried to counter-attack, but it didn't work. Of course we did get the goal which actually gave Leicester the lead through Jimmy Vardy on a counter-attack, so maybe we could do that again at the King Power Stadium. But it's going to be a very tricky game on Saturday against Manchester City. Since December, really, the Foxes have been up and down on their form. We've struggled to get a good run of form going, and it's seen us slip down the league table a little bit, obviously down to third place behind Manchester City. But this could be a turning point in our season. If you can get the 3 points on Saturday, we'll be 1 point behind Manchester City, and that really could turn our season around. Obviously, that point against Wolves was a pretty good result, so hopefully we can turn that good performance into a win against Manchester City on the weekend. But like I said, it's going to be a very difficult game. But last season in the Premier League, Leicester managed to beat Manchester City at home. We won by 2 goals to 1, that late Ricardo strike, giving the Foxes all 3 points on Box Day. So hopefully we can repeat that scoreline and hopefully get the 3 points once again against Man City at home on Saturday. We also have a pretty good record against Man City. We usually do well, and in particular Jimmy Vardy also normally does well against Manchester City. So maybe Vardy can be back. Hopefully Vardy can come back. Leicester to get the 3 points and to send us 1 point behind City in second. It's a huge game for both sides. This is the end of a tough run of fixtures for Leicester. After this Manchester City game, we have a couple of good fixtures coming up against the likes of Norwich. So this game is big. Hopefully Leicester can get the 3 points, which will send us 1 point behind City. And then with these slightly easier fixtures coming up, maybe Leicester can overtake City and finish second at this Premier League season. But it is a massive game for both sides on Saturday. But getting on to my score prediction, I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to go with a Leicester 1, Manchester City 1. I think it's going to end all square at the King Power Stadium, which would be a very good result, and that would mean we would draw every single game in February over these tough run of fixtures. Obviously we draw against Chelsea and Wolves, and if we can get a draw, a point against City, that would also be a very good result at the King Power Stadium. I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy to score. He has a very good record against City, and I'm going to go with Vardy to get back on form, get back with a goal. Hopefully that can spur Vardy on to get some more goals in the remainder of the Premier League season. And for City, sadly, I'm going to go for Riyad Mahrez, who of course was brilliant in the reverse fixture at the Etihad before Christmas. So I think Riyad Mahrez is going to score, but to take a point against City anywhere, it's going to be a good result, but it's going to be difficult. It could go either way. Maybe Leicester can get the 3 points, but I'll definitely take a point. So that's it for the Man City side of the match preview. My thoughts and my score prediction for this huge Premier League clash on Saturday down at the King Power Stadium. So let's get straight into my 1 to 11. So this is the side I think Brendan Rodgers will go with to start on Saturday down at the King Power Stadium against Manchester City. So starting off in goal, I'm going to go with Kasper Schmeichel. A bit of an up and down performance from Kasper. Of course, got the clean sheet against Wolves at Molineux last time out, so a bit back from Kasper. I think he's going to be crucial in this game. I think he's going to have a lot of work to do, and if he can try and keep a clean sheet, that would give Leicester a really good chance at getting the 3 points. So hopefully Kasper can have a solid game, and I think his distribution is going to be very important in this game as well. Right, so this is probably going to shock a few of you guys. I'm going to go with a back 5 to start in this game against City in the league. It's been heavily reported that Leicester are going to go with a back 5/3, but it really is a back 5 when defended. Maybe a back 3 when you are going forward, but I don't really know what to make of this. I would like to see this formation happen. Obviously, we have used it a couple of times this season. It worked very well against Newcastle in the Premier League on New Year's Day, but not so much against Aston Villa in the first leg of the Carabao Cup semi-final. So it's going to be interesting to see how City deal with this and how Leicester can play this back 5 sort of formation. But I think it will be the best formation to deal with the lack of central defensive midfielders, and obviously to try and stop the Man City threat coming forward with lots of Kevin De Bruyne. I think by using the back 5, it will allow the 2 wing backs to get out of the City wingers such as Mahrez or whoever is playing out with Bernardo Silva for City, and it will try and stop Kevin De Bruyne as well. So it's going to be interesting, but I'm going to go with a back 5 to start. So moving straight into this back 5, then starts off in the right wing back position, I'm going to go with Ricardo Pereira. So with this 5 out of the back formation, it's going to allow the 2 Leicester wing backs to really push on at that City defence. Obviously City not the best defence with that to show in the reverse fixture earlier on this season. So with this formation, it's going to allow the 2 wing backs to really get forward, push on that City defence, and defensively it's going to form a back 5. It's going to be hard to break through, even with the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Riyad Mahrez, etc. So I think this formation will work, and in particular with Ricardo, it's going to allow him to show his attacking flair going forward. He's very good attacking, and also he should be able to get back defensively as well. But moving into the 3 centre backs, to start off with the right one, I'm going to go with Johnny Evans. A pretty good performance by him against Wolves last time out, so hopefully Johnny can have a solid game. I thought him and Sunji had a pretty good game in the reverse fixture, so hopefully them 2 can have a good game. I think they're going to be heavily involved. I think City are going to try and get down the middle, but I think Johnny Evans can do a good job defensively, so hopefully he can have a solid game. Alongside him making his Leicester debut, I'm going to go with Ryan Bennett. Of course, we signed him in January from Wolves on loan. I think he will make his Leicester debut. It's been reported that he will come into the back 5/3, and I think it will happen. So hopefully Ryan Bennett can have a solid game. Obviously, he's got a lot of Premier League experience, and I think he'll slot nicely into that good mix of age in that centre-back role with lots of Johnny Evans around him. Moving into the other centre-back role with Kagala Soyuncu. Obviously, he's been brilliant so far this season. Another cracking performance by him against Wolves. Hopefully, Big Cass can have another solid game against City in this 5 out the back formation. And finally, moving into the left wing-back position, I'm going to go with Ben Chilwell. Just like Ricardo, it's going to allow Chilwell to get forward and maybe not put as much pressure on him defensively. So hopefully Chile can have a good game in this type of more advanced position in the left wing back position in this 5 at the back. So moving straight into midfield, so obviously there's going to be no defensive type of midfielder with lots of Wilfred and Didi missing. So I'm going to go into a more advanced role with James Maddison starting in midfield. I thought he had a pretty good game against Wolves, but I think he could have done a bit more. But I think James Maddison will have a good game against City in a more advanced role alongside Yuri Tillemans. I think them 2 can really get at that City defence to try and cause some problems. Yuri had a pretty good game against Wolves, but it still doesn't look like how good he was last season. He just doesn't look himself. Hopefully Yuri can have a solid game against City on Saturday. Moving into the left wing position, I'm going to go with Harvey Barnes. He got the assist for Jamie Vardy's goal in the reverse fixture. Hopefully Harvey can have a solid game. I'm going to go with the 2 wingers really, the left wing back position, and obviously the left winger with Chile and Barnes. Hopefully them 2 can link up, get that City defence and try and cause them some problems. In the right wing position, similar to Chilwell and Harvey Barnes, I'm going to go with Jose Perez and Ricardo. Obviously Perez, he's been pretty good so far this season, so hopefully Perez can try and come alongside Ricardo, causing problems to that City defence. I think if them 2 could work well down that right hand side. And now finally moving up front, I'm going to go with Jamie Vardy. In fact, his last goal did come in that reverse fixture against City. That came before Christmas, so Jamie Vardy hasn't scored in 2020. So hopefully Vardy can get back to scoring ways. I have predicted him to score. He usually does well against City, so hopefully Vardy can try and get that City defence. Obviously with this formation, it's going to allow Vardy a bit of flexibility up front. I think it's going to allow him to drop deep a few times as well, to try and get it out to the two wingers and maybe the wing backs as well, him to try and get in the middle. And I think this formation could work for Vardy. It's going to allow Maddison and Tielemans to really show how good they are in midfield wise and try and get Vardy some goals with the assist. But it's going to be a tough game, but hopefully Vardy can have a solid game up front against this pretty poor City defence. But that's it for the Leicester versus Manchester City match preview. This is probably one of the longest previews on the channel, but hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you are watching this far, what a legend you are. But yeah, if you did enjoy, make sure you drop a like down below on today's video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Like I said earlier, I'm on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So hit the subscribe button, guys, because it is hardly appreciated. While you're down there, turn my channel post notifications so you get a notification when the review does drop tomorrow on the channel after the game. Just want to say big thanks if you are watching still now. Big thanks to Ray for coming on the channel from City Fan TV, guys. But yeah, big game tomorrow. Hopefully Leicester can get the win up the City, guys. But I've been SPORTSA, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.